Hey everyone, my name is Luke Jackson-Clark and I'm a Sony filmmaking ambassador.
Over the next few days, I'm going to be exploring the Medinas
and waterfalls of Morocco, showing you guys the 2 Sony creator apps and telling you everything you need to know about them.
Okay, so we have made it to the first area here in Morocco, where, I don't know if you can hear it, there's a waterfall just down there, and we're gonna go and explore this waterfall. It's very curious to know what it's like. This is super green, unlike what I imagine Morocco to be honest.
So today we're here at Ouzid Waterfalls, Morocco's tallest waterfall, and we're here to explain all of the best features of the creator app. Let's get stuck into it. Okay, so let's say you get to a really cool location like this, but you're by yourself. Usually maybe you'd have to speak to someone about getting a photo for you, but sometimes those photos don't really turn out. So what we're going to do is use the creator app. So we're going to jump into it. So you need to go into the wireless connection settings in your camera. You then come into the app here and you press A7R5, which is the camera we're using today. Press pairing. Camera should come up with allow connection with your smartphone, connected device iPhone for this day. Press OK, pair. Connected to your smartphone, okay, and then boom, we're in the app. We've got, as you can see here, we have remote shooting, import, camera settings, cloud function, and then obviously you can connect to other cameras. So for example, we've got the ZV one here. There's 16 different cameras in the Sony ecosystem that connect to this app, which is super handy. But what we're going to be doing today is using this A7R5 to get some cool travel photos of me and this waterfall. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to set up the tripod, get in the frame and show you exactly what we're going to do. Let's do this. We're going to set up the camera here. Let's see, a little bit uneven. We got a 1635 G Master on today, so you got a nice wide lens shot. All right, so you want to set up the frame that you ideally want to get into. I'm just going to set up the frame right there. I'm going to imagine myself in the middle of the frame. So boom, so you've got that on the phone right now. So all you need to do is leave the camera as is, because you don't need to do anything with it. And we're just going to leave it here. We're going to run over to our location. Let's go. So as you can see me on the screen of the camera, and I have everything that I need to do to be able to get the perfect shot that I need. You then have access to all of the different settings that the camera has, but you can change them all in app as well. And it's super ergonomic, really easy to use. So we can go through and change things like shutter speed, aperture, ISO. We can change the shooting mode, so we can go into aperture priority or shutter priority, or any of the ones that you can access in the camera. You can change the drive modes, you can change white balance. So right now we've got a set white balance, so we're going to leave it like that. You can change the metering modes. You can go into the menu here and change some slightly more detailed settings. So we've got the right settings here. What I'm trying to get today is a photo of me standing in the waterfall, and I want the waterfall in the background to be a little bit blurry. So I've already set up the settings, but what we can do is we can change the shutter speed if we want a little bit. So let's try and go for like a 1/10. So it's slightly slow shutter, not too slow, but what that's going to do is it's going to make the waterfall, we're going to open the shutter for like this, and that will make the waterfall that's moving blur and blend into itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to frame up. That looks good. We're going to put the phone by my side so it's not visible, and we're just going to stand there and press by our side. Okay, boom, so that's the shot. Now let's go into playback. So we're going to bottom right hand corner of the screen, go on the little green play button, and we're going to look at the photo here. So it shows in-app a little JPEG photo, a little example of the shot. I'd say that looks super clean. Now, one of the really cool things that you can do in this is you can end remote shooting. Let's say, for example, you're wanting a really quick turnaround. I don't know, you want to get the photo up instantly to Instagram. So all you need to do is press on the import button on Wi-Fi. I'm going to come back and show this. Press import, then we have access to all the photos that are on my SD card. So we've got photos from all over the place right now, but we're going to go into the photos from today. We're then going to go to the photo that I just took, and we're going to press import. Now, it then comes up with a little thing that says import using this setting, and you can then decide basically what you're importing, and you can change that on the app settings. Now it says we're importing the original file, which is the RAW file, so we'll press OK. RAW images might not display properly. Usually on today's phones, you'll be able to see RAW, but what you can do is you can import it. So it's currently importing. It says number of selected files imported, 1 remaining. So we're just going to go through that taskbar. It takes a few seconds to get it done. Real time here. Boom, that's imported. Now, it's been copied to our phone, so we can go into our photos and have a little look at that. So we've got a raw image right here of me standing there with the waterfall. The quality is top class. So we're gonna quickly share this with Lightroom. What we're gonna do is press Lightroom there. Lightroom opens up, boom. We have the photo in Lightroom now. We can see the quality of the raw file if we zoom in. We've got the A7R5, so loads of resolution, and we can zoom right in. The sharpness is perfect. It's exactly what I hoped for. We've got that blur of the background in. So all we can do right now, let's just crop it, get a little 16:9 action going, change the exposure a little bit, contrast. We're gonna bring up the saturation a tad. For now, we're gonna leave it at that. All we need to do is export it, save copy to device. Simple as that. We've gone from camera, remote shooting in the Creator app. We've imported the photo from the Creator app to the phone. We've then gone straight into Lightroom, edited it, exported it straight away within a matter of minutes or even seconds, you could say. Get it directly to Instagram or any social media platform that we want, or just send it to some friends. So quick, super easy to use, super ergonomic. It's perfect, actually. I love this app, it's brilliant. It's great. Okay, so we've just made it back to Marrakesh. Before we get into the Monitor&Control app in the Medinas of Marrakesh, I thought I might just mention that the Creator app can not only shoot photos, but also can shoot video. And it's super handy for creators on the go that want to get both types of content in any format that you want. Super handy for getting all the frames and just getting everything you need. So let's get stuck in to the Monitor&Control app. So today we're going to be exploring the Medinas of Marrakesh and running through all of the super handy features of the Monitor&Control app. Okay, so this app focuses mainly on filmmaking. So I'm going to take you through all of my favorite tools right now. And the tools help us make sure that we're shooting everything right in camera to be able to get right footage in the edit. As you can see here, we have this relatively nice shot in this garden here in Morocco of me. And I'm going to run through my favorite tools for monitoring exposure. I'm going to start with the first one, which is waveform. Now, waveform is my personal exposure compensation tool because it allows for a really detailed vision of exactly how our exposure is looking. So it goes on a vertical scale, 0 to 100. 0 is underexposed, we've got the darks, we've got the blacks, and then 100 becomes overexposed. And you don't want to go past those. So as you can see in the top left of the screen, we've got some real highlights going on, and that's almost pushing overexposure, but it's not quite. And because it's not the subject, which is me, it's not too much of a problem. And the same with the blacks, which is my clothing. Most of the waveform is sitting around the middle ground between around 30 and 80, and that's exactly what we want. We then have the histogram, which is quite similar, but it is a horizontal axis. It goes from left to right, and we have the main waveform, which is shown here, as you can see. We want to make sure that it doesn't go too far past the limits. We then move on to false color, which looks slightly over the top and really detailed, and when I first saw it was super confused, but the overall intention is very similar. We have a range from, it's in this one, -7 to 109, and the intention is to try and stick within the middle, because blacks and blues are underexposed and oranges and reds are overexposed. So our overall image is sitting in a middle ground. As you can see in the top left, we've got some oranges going on. We're almost there, but not hitting any reds, so we're not overexposed. Now, you might be wondering, what are the greens and pinks and maybe the grays going on around the middle? Now, for me, and I think for most people, the intent behind these is to try and set some form of skin tone. So for me, I have a slightly lighter skin, therefore my skin is going to be sitting around the 60 to 70 mark, and as long as I've got some pinks going on, then I should be okay. If you've got slightly darker skin, then you might be sitting in the greens and potentially going into the grays, like the 40s. And this really helps you visualize that the colors of your skin are perfect, related to exposure. We can then move on to zebras, which I like to personally use in combination with the waveform, which allows me to see if I'm going just a bit too overexposed and can't quite visualize that on the waveform personally. Now, the way that I do that is I go to the scale and we can set a percentage. So we have a percentage scale from 0 to 109. Usually I just think on the 100 because obviously anywhere over 100 is overexposed. And I try and set my level to around 92 to 96. Try not to go anywhere past that. And that allows me to see if I'm overexposing any part of the image. So it's currently sitting at 94, and if we have a look in the left-hand side of the screen here, we can see that a little bit of the sky and some of the people in the background are like slightly pushing that overexposure limit. And if we combine that with the waveform, we can see that in the graph, and then also be notified that by the zebras in the sky and the highlights. So that's the waveform, histogram, false color, and zebra, which are some really helpful tools to monitor exposure in the app. I'm going to, because I can do this as well, end the recording.
One of the extra features that we have in the app is the Dqueeze feature. So if you wanted to use like an anamorphic lens to get that really unique effect, usually the footage that you get out of camera is unviewable. But in this app, you have the ability to see exactly what the footage will look like in the edit with the Dqueeze feature. It's super handy. Let's have a look.
So one of the key features of this app is the multi-camera shooting, as you can see here. So we have both the FX3 and the A7R5 connected to the Monitoring and Control app. So we can go from either of these angles at any time. And also on the iPad, I can control any of the settings, just like we mentioned before. So I can see waveforms to control my exposure. I can go in and change the focus based off each individual camera and go to the other camera. I can rotate the screen if I want to. And I can go through all of the different tools that we have, while also monitoring every single camera angle to make sure that it's okay. And we can change and record different individual cameras at once if we wanted to. So we can go into the FX3 and press stop recording, but the A7R5 is still recording. And then we can just stop both recordings, go back to the A7S, and we can control it super easily. It's very, very easy to use, and you can connect up to 4 different cameras. So obviously we've got 2 now, but if you wanted to, you could have 4 different cameras all over the place and use it for whatever scenario you need. A really good example of this is Mike Visual's video that he released recently, which you can check out just up here. So this leads us onto the control part of the app, which allows us to control things like focus and aperture. We control aperture through aperture and iris control manually, and then focus manually and automatically like we did in this alleyway. So to give you an example, I can be focused on myself here and then tap on Arthur in the background and move the focus from me to Arthur and then back to me. Okay, so that is the end of our time in Marrakesh. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and see you in the next one.